So this is Mary, Queen of Scots, with her son, King James the First, okay, of Scotland. And, well, no, I'm sorry. He was the 6th King of Scotland and the 1st King of England, okay? So this is the one that had the Bible. He didn't redo the Bible. He had it updated to English, modern English. Again, because the Geneva Bible is Old World English. It's hard to read. Because they spelled everything differently. So he did a great service in that regard, in my opinion. Now, here's where it gets so confusing, because Mary, Queen of Scots, okay, she does go back to that line, her father, her mother, then father, and, because many of these people, they were married many times, too. That's why it gets so confusing. But anyway, it goes back to why Donald Trump is the rightful heir of he's the king of Jerusalem. He is. He would never refer to himself that way, but that's the reason why Israel crowned him as the king of Jerusalem, because he's the heir to it. Literally, he is. Because of Mary, Queen of Scots' grandparents and the line, okay? Then this was the line I was following, which was King James, the first line, okay? And this is the reason why, the Bible talks about, you're fighting against principalities, okay? In my opinion, the principalities that was always going on is, you have her, she's a Catholic, okay? Believes fully in the Catholic. You had King James, though, that the Catholics tried to blow him up in Parliament. So the factions ended up, that's where the problem began, was the Christianity with all these splits into these different denominations. Demonic denominations, in my opinion, all claiming to be right, but not recognizing that you've all splintered, okay? And I get it, because there's a lot of argument with the Catholic Church as far as I'm concerned. There is. Was it back then? I don't know. But that's what caused that's what literally led to the Pilgrims coming to America. That's literally, all of that falling apart is what led to the founding of America. So he's related, like, to Donald Trump too, this King James, because of her, that's his mother. I think where the split came in is her father, which would have been King James the 5th of Scotland, because that's where it gets so confusing. So let's just kind of clear it up. This is the 1st King of England and the 6th King of Scotland. So in Scotland, they already had 5 other kings. But he was the first one to be the 6th King of Scotland, but the 1st King of England. Okay, both. So his mother, Mary, Queen of Scots, she disagreed with, so this is what it says. It's just talk about principalities. Okay, so Mary, Queen of Scots, was the mother of King James the Sixth of Scotland, who later became King James the First of England after the Union of Crowns in 1603. Their relationship was complicated, these two, as Mary was forced to abdicate in favor of her infant son, and James grew up largely separated from her due to her political troubles and imprisonment. Now, King James' father was Henry Stuart Lord Darnley. He was the second, and that was the second husband of Mary, Queen of Scots. Because remember I said she was married 3 times? Then her third husband, who was Henry, Beaumouth, Henry, some earl. He tried to kill King James the First, though. The man she was married to, that was her third husband. But her second husband was his father, which was Henry Stuart Lord Darnley. She was the offspring, Mary, Queen of Scots, of King James the Fifth of Scotland, okay? Then But King James the Fifth isn't who she had, right? No, I'm sorry. It gets so confusing. So she was the offspring of King James the Fifth of Scotland, okay? The royal line. So this is important to understand. Why was Mary, Queen of Scots, a legitimate threat to Elizabeth? Mary, Queen of Scots, was a constant problem during the early reign of Elizabeth I. This stemmed from the fact that she had a legitimate claim to the throne of England. Yeah, she did. Legitimacy was vital in Elizabethan England, I should say. The people believed that God chose the monarch and bestowed them with divine rights. See how it all comes back to the whole, because that's King James the First. He said he was enacting the divine right of kings, and everybody's ripped him all over the coals for that. No, I don't rip him off. I don't. But people said, oh, he says only God can hold him accountable. That's a big deal. Especially if you believe in God, the biblical God. Because believe me, the biblical God, you make one wrong step. So I actually don't see him as some tyrant. I think there was all this falling out of all the religious factions, and he was trying to get. I think he was trying to do the right things, actually. And I think that, like anybody, these were difficult decisions. Anyway. Let me read that part again. The people believed that God chose the monarch and bestowed them with divine rights, meaning divine rights from God. To have the approval of God, an heir's bloodline had to be pure and fully connected to a previous monarch. If doubt about a monarch's legitimacy existed amongst the population, the monarch would face rebellion. Which is what happened, really. Mary, Queen of Scots, was a member of the Tudor royal family, unlike Elizabeth. Her parents had not divorced before or after Mary's birth. This increased Mary, Queen of Scots' legitimacy. From the perspective of an English Catholic, Mary deserved to be Queen of England. She was a devout Catholic. That's what ended up being part of the problem, though. She also, through marriage and birth, had claims to the Scottish and French thrones. English Catholics believed that Mary, Queen of Scots, could restore England's reputation as a European power. Many people confuse Mary, Queen of Scots with Mary First. Mary First was Elizabeth's half-sister and ruled England with Philip II of Spain. Okay, so don't confuse her with that. So do you see how ultimately, all of it goes back to the Bible. I mean, it's things, and then, you go back to, I'll do a different video because I'll just confuse people. So they had difficulty because what he was protecting them, he said in that demonology book, he said that the Reformation was like the worst thing. And I think that's really why he wrote the book the demonology book of his experiences, because this was the experiences of this fallout that was happening, which then led to America being founded. So that was a good thing. But it was the Protestants claiming one thing, the Catholics claiming another. And in my eyes, really, where a lot of these denominations and, the kings and the royal bloodlines of this world can say what they want. But really, some of them became too obsessed with ego and weren't really following God's word. I think he really was trying to. I do. I think he was trying to do the right thing. But the Catholics, they also wanted power, those Catholic earls. I'm not saying she was. It just shows how without truly following Jesus' word, we're all lost.